Victimhood. Once upon a time it was something you tried to rise above. Now it's the fastest ticket to moral authority, social applause, and, if you play it right, a nice little state paycheck. So how did this happen? In England, we now have legions of professional victims. People who wake up each morning, scan the news for fresh outrages, then step outside to tell the nation exactly how oppressed they are by the very air they breathe. And the astonishing thing, the nation applauds. Not out of pity, but out of envy. Everyone wants in on the act. Take the great British unemployed victim. The person who hasn't done a day's work since the pandemic promised to delete us all. Yet he lives better than his grandfather did after 40 years hard graft. He's on disability benefits now. And these disability benefits aren't just for people who've lost the use of their legs. It's for people who claim they've lost the use of their get up and go. Anxiety, depression, brain fog, a bad back from playing video games in bed. These are the modern medals of valour. Simply fill in a form, sprinkle in some creative writing, and hey presto, you are making more than a working man, all tax-free, no questions asked. Plus a blue badge so you can park your free Motability car outside KFC. And this blue badge is worn as a badge of honour. In certain postcodes, the question is no longer, what do you do? Instead, it's what have you got? I've got ADHD, autism, fibromyalgia, and a touch of PTSD from when I fell off the sofa during the Fury fight. And this victimhood is delivered with the quiet pride a previous generation reserved for war heroes. And the more exotic the cocktail of victimhood, the higher your social status. You are not considered a scrounger. You are viewed as a survivor. You are not work shy. You are neurodivergent. You are a victim of capitalism, the white man, the upper class. Yet there's a new underclass who've decided being lower class isn't a temporary misfortune. It's a glorious identity to defend with tooth, nail, shank, and pitbull. They like it down there simply because it is easy to remain a victim, easy to permanently remain authentically deprived. Poverty is their brand and they guard it jealously. Suggest getting a job and you're judging. Suggest elevating your way of thinking, and you are accused of not understanding the struggle. The current youth culture considers burglary, shoplifting, dealing, street intimidation, and vandalism not as failings, but acts of revolutionary redistribution. They too are oppressed by the police, by stop and search, by a system that locks them up for light-hearted entrepreneurialism. Watch any local news item about a teenage stabber, and within minutes the family's on camera, eyes brimming, explaining that Kyle or Kyron or Killamy was failed by society. Failed. As though society promised to raise him and somehow forgot to turn up for 20 years. The idea that a little hooded street hustler might have failed society himself is literally unthinkable. So why does the modern society cling to victimhood so fiercely? 3 reasons. First, it absolves them of responsibility. Nothing is ever their fault. Second, it gives them moral superiority over the decent, hard-working people who pay the taxes that fund the whole circus. Third, and most powerful, it gives them attention. It provides them with an identity. In a country where fame is the only recognised form of immortality, being professionally wounded is the closest many will ever come to starring in their own Netflix special. So they polish their grievances the way previous generations polish boots, and march them out demanding not just sympathy, but celebration. And Britain, soft-hearted, soft-headed, and terminally guilty about its own past, claps along like a drunk at a karaoke night. The state, never slow to spot a trend, has institutionalized the performance because the state realizes that victimhood has become the perfect distraction. While we're all competing to prove who suffered most, we're not asking awkward questions about the ineptitude and corruption of our leaders. The people of this country used to confront hardship with a cup of tea and a slightly raised eyebrow. We used to get on with things and make the best of a bad situation. However, that way of thinking required resilience. And now, resilience has gone out of fashion. We've traded it for the luxury of perpetual victimhood, where every bruise must be kissed better by the nanny state. Perhaps one day the fashion will change again. Perhaps we'll get bored of our own tears and decide that getting on with things is, after all, a rather elegant solution.